Hello, everyone. Good morning and happy match day. We are back. This is the ASTV pre-match show. I'm going to be the host today. My name is Gally. For anyone checking us out for the first time, we want to say thank you for joining us today. We are going to jump through. We'll probably have some more guests join us along the way. We will be reviewing some of the big stories leading up to the match. We will talk a little bit about what we can expect from a reaction from the side. And of course, we will review the lineups, the tactics, what we think we will see from the manager. And of course, at the same time, we are also going to get out there and talk a little bit about today's matchup and what it means for the title race. So I am joined this morning bright and early from the West Coast by Sir Z. Sir Z, how are you this morning, my friend?
Good, Gary. How are you? It's still dark outside. Okay.
Still dark outside, but it is brighter in here because you showed up with your great 97 Never Forgotten background. Very important message, especially this week, as we know we'll be coming up on it. Speaking of someone who gets up in the middle of the night, hell, I am determined to believe he just does not sleep. Mr. Hole-in-One himself, I have to say, Kazi, I'm so inundated with all the awesome content that comes from American Scouser that I honestly don't get much Facebook of my own personal accord anymore. So it took me a few days. It actually took Sir Z talking about your hole-in-one a couple times for me to go seek out the videos. I will say no one has taken advantage of a moment like that in a long, long time stateside when it comes to self-gratification. And you deserve it, my friend. Well played. Well done to you.
Thank you. Yeah, might be one of the best moments in my life.
Other than that moment when beautiful Millie was born and brought into this world.
I mean, it was a birthday yesterday. She's 3, and I don't think she realizes. Thank you. I don't think she realizes that the hole-in-one is on par with what happened after years ago.
I love it. I love it. It is amazing. I will say, I was with someone once. I'm not a golfer. But I go out every once in a while with my buds and just have a good time. I had a horrific left shoulder injury, really allows me to be a chipper now. So I can basically be in a good scramble with good golfers because I can putt. So they like to bring me out because I mean, we went out and played and we won a tournament and I actually putted us off. I think 9 of the 18 holes I made the putt for the group.
Oh.
I'm a decent putter. Like, actually, I don't know what it is. Probably because I was never good enough to be a real golfer. So I just got good at the part where you could be 4 foot nothing and handle. But I was with someone when they hit their first ever hole-in-one, and they were a lifetime golfer. And the accomplishment and the look on their face when they got it. It is a great feeling. So it was really cool to see. So congratulations to you. And hopefully we have something to celebrate in a couple hours, like that hole-in-one was celebrated. But I wanted to start here. I thought this was a great quote by the manager. It put everything in perspective. Not the worst game we've ever played, but there will be a reaction, and I can promise that. But yes, we will show a reaction, and I can promise. So let's start with you on this one, Kazi. What type of a reaction do you expect to see from the lads? Yeah. And what type of reaction do you require to see?
A serious reaction, and I require to see a serious reaction. I think we will get a serious reaction. I think the team that the manager's picked, including the bench, is the strongest we've been since the start of the season, which is absolutely insane when you say that in April. that is the strongest we've been since probably one of the first few weeks of the season. I couldn't believe all these players. I can't believe the bench. I can't believe the bench. The bench looks like the most beautiful bench I've ever seen in my life. Fucking unbelievable footballers sitting on our bench again, which more puts into context what the manager and the team have done this season, and actually gives them more respect of what they've done this season. So I expect a reaction. I think we're going to get a serious reaction, and I think the manager's shown that with his team selection, and especially with the bench. I think the manager kind of knew that was happening as well. So,
yeah. So, obviously for anyone following us that does live under a rock, Liverpool takes on Crystal Palace in a crucial task today at Anfield. The match will be starting roughly in an hour, 9 a.m. Eastern. You're going to see it on USA if you're here in the States. When we talk a little bit here about the actual, before we get into the actual lineups, I know both of you had big response when it came to Thursday afternoon. We were all talking in the Discord channel. For those of you who don't know or watch these matches at home, if you don't have a pub to go to and you're looking for one, I'm going to drop a link right now into the chat. You can go ahead and click on that, create a username, and you'll be able to get right in with us idiots. And you can have yourself a little virtual pub. You'll never have to watch another match, whether it's midweek and you're pretending to be working, whether or not it is late or it's 4:35 in the morning and you need someone to argue about. There's someone on the East Coast up. Hell, there might be someone in England still up from the night before, bantering away in that post and in our Discord channel. So please go ahead and jump right in there. We talk a little bit about in the Discord channel about what we were disgusted about or bothered with when it came to that match on Thursday afternoon. And I don't want to harp too much on it other than to focus on what we're going to see to improve today. So Zerzi, I'll come to you with kind of the same question. Kazi needs an immediate reaction and a big one. When you hear the manager say there will be a reaction, what does that mean to you, and what would equate to a positive reaction today at Anfield from the lads?
A positive is obviously winning. Coming out, just coming out all guns blazing, I guess. Alisson being back, that's a huge change. I mean, I love Kelleher, and I don't think he's really done that much wrong. But to have Alisson back is huge, especially in defense. After that, Van Dijk and Konate, they got shitted on the other day. To have someone like Alisson back behind them, that just boosts their confidence in defense. Klopp probably went off on him, and he just left it at that. I don't think he harbored for the last 2 days. I think the players knew they disappointed themselves. So I'm expecting a huge, like every single one of them, just to take some, accountability, responsibility. We put the last game behind them and just go all guns blazing. I mean, it's realistically now, this is the only competition got left that we've got to win now.
Kazi, I'm going to come back to you on this one, and I did want to talk about Alisson and not only what he means by having the world's best goalkeeper, as we always jokingly say, like we have the best goalkeeper in the world, and you're always going to have a drop off, even if you have the best number two. There's a big gap between. Like there was always a huge gap between Tiger and Phil. Phil was number two, but there was a huge ass gap, right? Or like Federer in his prime. So we look here. Alisson comes back, and Cersei makes a great point. We can talk about poor defensive performances. Rarely do we talk about a shambolic one like Thursday night. And it started with the captain. It started with Virgil. He was he looked like he was Bambi out there, learning how to walk for the first time on ice. So how important is Alisson back? And how important is it that the manager knew he needs to go back to Konate and Van Dijk to make it right here 48 hours, 50 hours later? Because it feels like this is a moment for them to make up for Thursday night to themselves.
Yes, they both need the performance, I would say, definitely. The Alisson one's interesting because the way sometimes Virgil defends, and I think that, and I don't know what you guys think, but I think sometimes he goes, go on, shoot. And but the problem is when going on shooting, you haven't got Alisson in goal, is that sometimes the ball goes in the net. Do you know what I mean? Where as much as Liverpool were poor against Atalanta and the performance is unacceptable, Ali probably saves 2 of them. And as much as Kelleher made big saves, I'm not arguing that, but Ali saves 2 of those goals. Kelleher is not great for 2 of them. And I know, so if your striker takes a couple of chances, including Nunes, you probably need a performance. But if your striker takes a couple of chances, then the game could be different again. You could go Liverpool play shit there, but you drew 2-2. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's the difference, isn't it? You know what I mean? We were garbage there, but we drew 2-2. So that's the difference in performance. But bro, I got this when I seen the starting 11, I was like, oh yeah, Alisson. I was reading, I was like, oh fucking hell, Alisson. It was like, oh my god, like Alisson's back, like, you know what I mean? Like my head just couldn't click because it was just expect to see Kelleher here. Do you know what I mean? So it's just what a perfect timing for to get him back. Do you know what I mean? I don't want it. To be fair, I don't want to see him against Atalanta on Thursday. I want to just let him play the next games. And if Liverpool do even get through by luck against Atalanta, I just want Kelleher to start the Europa League anyway. I don't even want him to play Alisson. So we'll see, mate. But yeah, I'm super excited for it. Hi. Yeah,
it's okay. You are the best thing that's happened to this program yet, Millie. Don't kid yourself.
To be fair, you do talk more sense than Anan and Bickler and stuff. So yeah.
So I will say, when it comes to Alisson coming back, and I actually said it Thursday afternoon after the match. I don't know if it was in the pub, and I was talking to some guys as we were wrapping up. Kelleher was brilliant, and to do what he did for as long as he did, without a real blunder or a mistake, without having, forget a howler, not really even putting in a subpar performance over the entire time he was asked to just jump in on four fronts and start playing at a high level, right? I thought that was super impressive. I also felt like Thursday afternoon was almost like one match too far. It was like the gas had just run out, because that ball that gets under him is the one that is, and it's almost like you can see that one almost affect the rest of the match, because he had a lot less confidence, because he knew he has to keep that one out. I mean, you can't let that ball get under you in that way, in that spot. So we talk a little bit about the defense. Let's move to the midfield. Kazi, we will start with you. He hasn't had his best performances. We're both huge supporters of Curtis Jones. I know he's coming back off an injury. To me, this is a big call, because he hasn't been great. And I think this is the manager saying, Szoboszlai, one needs a little bit of a rest, a little breather. And this is the type of match we need control in the midfield. If, one of the things this manager does like to do is he likes to try that man marking all over the field mentality. I don't know Palace has the players to do it. Atalanta had speed and young players to try to do it, and they disrupted us. I don't think Palace is the type of team that can go, oh, yeah, that Thursday night, that's the blueprint. Let's go try to do that, because I don't think they have the bodies. Do you think Jones's ability to be in possession, not turn the ball over in bad spots, and usually make the right pass is the reason he gets the nod today over Szoboszlai?
Yeah, I think so. I think there's a part where Szoboszlai's not in great form either.
Yep.
There's the only other argument for the start really is Elliot. He's probably the only one who can actually have a serious knock on the manager's door and go, why am I not starting? And the rest kind of are flipping to, what you prefer, basically. And I think it's more about control. Liverpool haven't controlled a football game in about 6 weeks. I really like Liverpool just to go out and control a football game. So the one thing that Jones does provide is control. Yeah, he hasn't been great since he came back from his injury, but again, he might need 90 minutes as himself. He might need the minutes on the pitch to kind of get going. So I'm happy with it, mate. The one I want to see a performance from is Endo. Thought he poor the last two games. Thought he poor against United. I didn't think he was great against Atalanta. So the other one, again, is him. I want to see him kind of. But again, mate, you look around again, and I say this all the time with people who have bad performances. You look around and go, fucking hell, all the boss players are back. Look at the bench, all the boss players are back. You look and go, fucking hell, he's boss. Do you know what I mean? And you're not playing with, again, that's where the Gakpo out of form argument, we came in early on in the year, and February, March time, because he's playing with Bobby Clark and McConnell behind him, and and he's probably looking at himself going, fucking hell, I'd love a pass from fucking McAllister coming through to me. Do you know what I mean? It's difficult, isn't it? But yeah, man, it's a big day, innit? It feels like a big day to me, guys, after the Atalanta performance. It feels like a big game. As much as Palace are no fake shakes, you know what I mean? And again, I expect a reaction when I'm home, and it just feels a bit like you're right. There's no more excuses now. You've got your lads back. You've got your big boys back. There's no excuses, boys. We expect a performance, and fucking hell, mate, I'll snap your arm off for a clean sheet, wouldn't you? Fucking hell, I'll snap your hands off right now. If you offer me a 1-0 win, I'd take it. Just to get a clean sheet over a 5-0 win. To show you a 5-3 win. If you offer me a fucking 1-0 or a 5-3, I'd take a 1-0. Do you know what I mean? In a weird way. Just to have a clean sheet. But yeah, man, it's exciting. But yeah, Jones is that kind of player, mate, who can control games. Doesn't lose the ball often. Really. And again, the manager trusts him. He trusted him years ago in big games. And again, I always go back to it. When that City at home game and Salah skins everyone and scores in the 2-2, Jones passes in the ball. People forget Jones starts that game. Do you know what I mean? Like, because people just think, oh, he's only been playing well for 12 months. Well, the manager was starting 3 years ago in games, Do you know what I mean? In big, massive games. So we'll see what happens, mate. But I'm so excited when I woke up this morning seeing that bench. It's fucking, let's go. You know what I mean? Finally.
We'll get back into the bench. Let's flip the script over. You mentioned the Palace side, who has looked a little bit more attack-minded and a little bit more coming out since the new manager got there. It's amazing when you get off of having, your grandfather as the manager, and he really was. like they hired Roy Hodgson, and it was like calling in Grandpa to be the caretaker. But normally the caretaker, when Grandpa takes over the team, it's like for the last 2 games that don't matter. And he took over for the last 5 games that didn't matter, and then they decided to keep him for another half a season and watch the whole team regress. This team actually has some attacking flair in it when you start talking about Elise, Eze. I've been impressed with the Wharton kid that they bought out of the championship. Mateta scores some goals. I'm not saying I'm afraid of Mateta as a striker, but he is the type of striker that gives us fits because he'll just hang on Konate, and if he runs past him, he does finish when he gets opportunities, so don't give him chances. And the one I'm really, actually intrigued in is the young fullback they have, the Munoz kid. He goes forward. He flies. He's really a winger. Let's be real. They are starting Klein in defense, so it kind of gives you like a damper of what's going on at Palace. I didn't even know he was still at the club, but that will be an interesting one for him to come back. So, Sir Z, if you're looking at this Palace lineup, is it the combination of Elise and Eze creating and pulling strings in the midfield that most worries you, or could it be, just the fact that they're going to play their low block, try to defend, and make things difficult for Liverpool today, and really aren't going to come out and have a go at us?
I don't think they're going to go low block. I think they're going to try and go toe to toe. Elise, Eze, Mateta, they actually do scare me. Wharton, he was, I think he was at Blackburn. He was good, Blackburn.
He's been good since he came there too.
Yeah. But that's the most attacking Palace lineup I've seen in years. I don't think they're going to low block. I think they're going to try and do what Atalanta did, and just they know we're shaken. We lost 3-0 at home. How that doesn't happen? Not in the club. And I think they think that we're shaken, and I think they're going to try and go to toe. They got no threat of relegation. They got really nothing to lose.
I hope you're right, because if they come out toe-to-toe with that bench, they won't be able to last 90 minutes, and the last 30 minutes, they'll be making subs, and we'll be making subs, as to Kazi's point, with 2 to 3 of our starters, of our actual best 11 coming in, and in turn, they'll be replacing them. I personally think that they'll be kind of a mixture. I think they'll pick pockets and times when to come out and attack, but if they try to come out and play us toe-to-toe, I think they could be in for a long afternoon, especially with Salah's scoring record against Crystal Palace. Kazi, let's go up top. Let's not just focus on the Nunez, Gakpo, because we could argue right now Nunez, Gakpo, Mo, and Diaz, none of them are really in great shakes or form, which is why we've struggled, because we're not consistently scoring our goals, which then puts more pressure on every one of the players. I would agree with everyone. Nunez needs a goal more than anyone. He also needs a performance, but I also think Mo needs a performance, and I think Diaz really needs a performance that's more than us just saying, man, he hustles a lot and does a lot of fun things and does tricks on the field and then dribbles into a defender when he just needs to make a sideways pass to an open midfielder. When it comes to that front three today, where do you want to see the impotence? Where do you want to see the attacking threat? Do you want to see them try to run through Mo and Bradley on the right and get him going? Or do you think that left-hand side is probably where we should be?
It's tough, this, mate. Listen, they all need a performance. They all need, again, I think it's more than goals. I look at Darwin and think, if you give Salah those chances, Salah scores. That's the difference. I don't think Salah's getting those chances that Darwin's getting. Do you know what I mean? I don't think Salah's been going through one-on-one and missing sitters. As much as Salah's hasn't been any great shakes. There's also an argument that Salah's still coming back from his first biggest injury in 7 years. 7 years. It's his biggest injury he's ever had. So there's also an argument for that as well for Salah. So we'll give him a little bit of a pass on that one. But they all need a performance. The scary thing is Jota comes back for 20 minutes against Atalanta, looks like our best player. And it's like, oh, this is what meant to striker. A striker can actually get in the 6-yard box, guys. Who would have thought it? Do you know what I mean? And that's what, that's the concerning part for our other front four, because I'll be looking and going, well, he looks fucking pretty good there in that 20. Do you know what I mean? And if you want to start, then he's probably going to start the rest of the season after today, if he carries on. So there's also a part of this as well, which I go back to the Palace thing. If you're Palace, though, Gally, right, I know what you're saying, if you can sit in and stuff like that, but I'm with Sir Z, man, you've got Liverpool give you the goal in the first 20. You give everyone a goal in the first 20. So you've got to go the first 20 and have a go, haven't you? Because I think Liverpool have conceded 20 times this season in the first goal. I think it's 20 times now, set a record basically of coming back. So if you look yourself and go, well, I've got to get at these, do you know what I mean? It's the only way I can get home here. With Mateta at least saying, Eze, we're all talented players. They are talented and they're all pacey and got ability. So, yeah, I'm a little bit like that. But our strikers, mate, as much as they need goals, they need a fucking performance. They need to put some effort in. A bit of fucking willpower to get going, do you know what I mean? I thought Darwin stunk the gaff out the last few games, like disgusting.
I think Gakpo's unlucky not to start.
I think so do I, mate, based on his, I know.
Yeah.
And Atlanta, he was good against Atlanta, but was he? Or was he just a competent football player?
Well, that's where I was going to go, Kazi, because I thought they were also poor against Atlanta. I don't know where you find the good or the bad in that. Let's grab a couple of these comments here, and then we'll welcome in Maka. Sparky Parky wants everyone to know that it looks like Everton might be getting another 2-point deduction. Getting more.
Get another 2 points, guys. I might have to come back.
Yeah, this is getting more and more crazy as this keeps happening. Trevor Utley says he was surprised that Jota didn't start today to set the tone, even if it was just for a half. I can understand bringing Jota on from the bench in this one. I think there are bigger matches to come, and I think he will get his time. And Maka, welcome this morning. How are you feeling? What was your initial response coming out of seeing this starting 11?
Yeah, I'm doing okay, but if you're gonna have ice cream for your dinner on a Saturday night, be prepared to suffer for it on a Sunday morning. That's my advice to everybody today. I think it's probably as strong as we can go, isn't it? Without Jota being fully fit and starting up front.
Trent as well,
and Trent as well, yeah. But I mean that's the debate we've been having, isn't it? Trent or Bradley? Like Trent offers us X amount of things that are.
There's no debate there. There was a debate for the Chelsea match. Can we all come to grips? The kid was amazing. The kid was amazing for 3 matches. He's been a good, serviceable Premier League fullback since. He's had little to no major balls into the box. He has been just as much a defensive liability because he's so mentally thought of getting forward. I personally think the Bradley thing, he's been tremendous. And if it wasn't for him, we'd be in real trouble. But this idea that there's a competition between Trent Alexander-Arnold and Connor Bradley, to me, is a little crazy. You actually think that there's like a logistical reason other than Trent not being fit that he's not starting today? You think this might be tactical?
Oh, no, it's probably just not that he's fit, but Connor Bradley's a better fullback than Trent Alexander-Arnold. That's just simple.
Stop it, Maka. That's the Irish coming out and you're protecting the Irish fella. There's absolutely no way that Connor Bradley...
I agree, Maka. I actually agree defensively.
I mean, crazy towns happening here. What I would say is this. The only thing more consistent is we knew if Sadu was going to jump in, it would be, why is the overrated Jones playing again? He's playing again because Soboslai needs a rest, and Elliott is the only game changer that comes on from the bench, and you can guarantee gives you a good performance every time. We talked about this a little bit in the pre-match last week. In my opinion, Elliott has almost been a victim of his own success this season coming from the bench, and he's taken on the role of closer. He's taken on the James Milner role, but not the James Milner role that sees out a victory, the James Milner role that comes in and assures the victory. Speaking of assuring victories, or assuring that I sometimes get in trouble, we'll bring in the boss for a little bit here as we get ready to close things out. Timuchin, I'll ask you the same question I asked these guys, and we'll bring it up for you as a refresher. The lineup itself, more about how strong Klopp is going and the few tweaks he's made, or is it really about us finally getting some of these senior first 11 players back and fit for the bench to show just how deep this squad is when everybody is healthy for the manager to select?
Yeah, I mean, looking at them, I look at that midfield and I feel like, this is more like go back out there and get this shit right kind of a lineup. I mean, that's the reaction I get out of it. Obviously, Gomez is the victim, but I mean, he's not necessarily a right back anyway. I'm assuming Bradley, I mean, we kind of like ran him into the ground, and I think he can give you 90 anyway, so we couldn't do 90 here, 90 there. So that's why he's naturally starting. But that's what, I mean, old tactics and stuff pretty much probably out the window for this one. It's more about like reaction and, how the team reacts and then how the stadium reacts to that, and have a proper home game to go at somebody, play well, show some ambition and stuff like that. But having said that, like you were asking, I mean, it's nice to have the strong 11, and then you look at the bench and see some good options to be able to come in, including someone like Gakpo and stuff like that. You can change formations, you can change the game and all that kind of stuff. So that's definitely good to see, like the good old days, if you will, like a few months ago. But more importantly, I look at that lineup and I'm like, yeah, you guys got to go out there and make this right. You guys know how to play, just go out and do it, kind of a deal.
So we got a few minutes left here. We always like to get everyone time to refresh the coffees and get themselves settled before the match starts. So let's talk a little bit of the predictions. Feel free to drop the score line if you're following us on Instagram, Facebook, or X, YouTube as well. You can comment in, give us your score predictions. If you're right, we'll mention them. Maybe we'll mention them in the post-match. If you're drastically wrong, we will absolutely mention them in the post-match. Maka, let's start with you on this one. What's your prediction for this match? Don't give me that loss for a win, because that shit didn't work last weekend. Your loss for a win turned into a draw. So what is this week's prediction, and maybe how does the match get won?
I'm not talking to any of you now because I'm only kidding. Here's what I'm gonna do. Because I hear them Cozzy say, and I think he's right. The team needs an absolute performance, and it needs a top class performance after Thursday, and a proper bounce back. We're Liverpool, Atlanta. You better be quaking in your boots now. At the end of it, so I'm gonna go with my always hopeful 5-0. And I'm going to go for my Darwin Núñez hat-trick this week because he has to do it at some point. He has to do it at some point. There's no better game for it than this one. But I don't know. I think the game is going to be won not through like any sort of tactical thing or super performance by anybody. I think it's going to be won by everybody going, right, that last game was crap. We have to do better than this. We have to be more collective than we've been, as tired as we are at this point than we have been in the past few games. And get everything back to where it was when we were all hopeful of winning 4 trophies.
By Darwin Núñez hat trick, he's actually talking about a worldy goal, or actually a fluffed miss from inside the 6-yard box, a worldy goal, and then being sent off for taking his jersey off after getting the worldy goal. That would be the Darwin Núñez hat trick that I would expect. Sir Z, what do you have for us? I know you're a little nervous about this one. It's in your nature, not like the Turkish nature, but it's in your nature to have a little bit of nerves. So where do you come in on this one? What is your score prediction? Where can this match be won or unfortunately lost?
I don't think we'd lose this. I was going to say 4-3. I thought it was, and then I'm watching Alisson warm up, and I think, oh, yeah, the best keeper ever. I don't even know. I think Jota comes on and makes a big difference. I am glad Jones. I think Jones and Maka. That's our first choice midfield for sure. I think that's where the game needs to be won. But then the bench as well. So, I'll go for 4-2.
Kazi, how about you? What do you got for me?
Anything with a clean sheet. I don't care if it's 1-0, 5-0, 10-0. Just give me a damn clean sheet. I've never wanted a clean sheet more in my life than today. Honestly, we have the keeper back. We have him back, the handsome bastard. And we have him back. Like, he's beautiful, beautiful man is back. And he's back where I need him, in the goal, not looking like a beautiful model on Instagram. So, anything to 0. I'll say 3-0 Liverpool, but anything to 0, I'll be very happy.
Can I just point out, that's a way more outrageous claim than my one that Bradley's a better actual fullback than Trent Alexander-Arnold. We are not getting a clean sheet, Cozzy. Come on.
I can't wait till Trent's back on the field. You know, like 20 minutes and you go, oh yeah, he's really good.
Ryan Thompson says, my prediction is I'll be 3 beers deep by halftime.
Slacking. He's slacking.
I was just going to say, I'm happy to report I will not be 3 beers deep by halftime, but that's because Liverpool will not be 3 down by halftime, because if it was like that at Atlanta game, I would definitely be in trouble by halftime. Timuchin, what are you giving us for the scoreline today? And let me ask you, to Kazi's point, though, how important would a defensive performance today, a clean sheet, and an organized, clean victory be? Like, would it mean more to you to win this match 1 or 2-0 than to win it 5-1, just because it's been so long since we looked like we could win a match 2 or 3-0. So we really haven't shown any form of control like that in probably 2+ months.
I'll take the 5-1. Seems a lot less nervy for one. And then gets everybody, I mean, somebody has to score those 5 goals, right? So gets everybody scoring for 2. So I think just for that reason alone, I think I take the 5-1. I get the clean sheet. I don't predict a clean sheet. I'm going with a 4-1. But the good news is I'm hoping that it's kind of like a reckless late goal given away where we kind of checked out because the game is in hands, kind of a goal given away.
So basically, you're just predicting that they'll bring Trent on and he'll make a mistake late, so you have something to talk about in the post match.
To get his goal, to get chime in. There you go.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I will say, I thought Kazi made a comment earlier. I think Endo could use a performance in this match. I'd really like to see him give us some stability in the midfield, at the base of that midfield, help Konate and Virgil kind of get back together. I am going to go with the clean sheet. I'm going to say they win this 3-0. And that really the match is won in the midfield. I think Jones and McAllister are really key here because I think there could be a lot of joy out wide. You know, we got Nathaniel Klein starting at one of their fullbacks today. Both Bradley, whether it's Bradley or Robertson going up against Nathaniel Klein, I think that would be Bradley. I would feel pretty good about myself if I'm Bradley, and I'd feel really good about myself if I'm Trent. And those are the opportunities. And I just think Mo gets going. I think Mo scores from open play today. Something I think that will make his confidence kind of rip back up. You know, he should be in better conditioning. He should be ready to go. So for everyone that's been watching us here today, thank you very much for viewing.
Before we go, it's important to mention it's Hillsborough weekend. So before you flag, nerds, start mentioning flags. All the is Hillsborough flags on the cup. That's been a tradition for years. So if you don't see the other flags, that's the reason why. So that's nothing to do with the protest and stuff like that. It's just a Hillsborough weekend, Hillsborough flags. That's it. It's
a great point, Kazi. And to that point, just so everyone is clear, as I'll raise my hand as someone who was critical of portions of the timing, they were never, even if the club didn't make a comment on the weekend, the Spy on Cop folks had said they were never going to degrade the Hillsborough flags being there this weekend. They actually made sure everyone knew they were doing it on Thursday night so it wouldn't affect the ceremonies today at the club. We talked a lot about that story over the week, so I didn't want to focus on it this morning. There's positive resolution, I feel, that came out of it. Proper dialogue, which is why you have these things. I think it could have been handled on both sides in different ways. So let's just raise our hands and next time, act like the adults in rooms and maybe try to get to the table and talk without bringing our kids into it, because that's ultimately what we did here. We were like divorced couples that decided to put their kids involved in it and be like, will you talk to your mom for me? Will you talk to your dad for me? And while you're at it, post it on social media. That went over really, really well. So you know what else would go over really well? Jump into the YouTube channel right now. Going to drop that link in the chat. Go ahead and give that a subscription. If you're not already following us on Instagram, follow our Instagram. Go check out our stories, some of our recent posts. We have a great giveaway going on right now, partnering with a few other sites. You just do some likes, shares, get a few other folks tagged in the post, and you might win yourself an autographed signed McAllister jersey. Who wouldn't want to win that? While you're at it, subscribe to the channel. Make sure to come back and check out the post-match show, which will come following the final whistle, hopefully going over our big victory today and spurring us on to what could be a historic comeback next week in Italy. So for Gally and everyone at American Scouser TV, thank you for watching the pre-match. Up the Reds, and we will see you all post-match. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.